Just 9 Saturdays remaining in the USL Championship campaign. In the spirit of Labor Day, two clubs looking to put in work tonight. San Antonio FC, Charleston Battery here from Toyota Field with Katie Goodman. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us here this evening. And speaking of work, Katie, for San Antonio FC, they got some work to do to get themselves back above the playoff line in the Western Conference table.
That's right. It's a team we're so used to seeing there at the very top last season before, sitting in those top spaces, but now still gunning to get above that red line.
Yep, 4 points below the playoff line. Monterey Bay right now occupying that last spot, the number 8 spot as San Antonio FC tries to make the playoffs for a 5th consecutive season. On the other side, Charleston Battery, coming off a trip to the USL Championship final a season ago, is having a remarkable year. They're 1 point behind Louisville City, trying to get a Players' Shield.
Right, finished 3 in the regular season last season, here at number 2. It's going to be a tough game no matter how you spin it. They've got some firepower up top, and it's going to be good.
Take a look at your keys for tonight for both clubs, Katie, and obviously both these teams have challenges as they come into week 26.
Well, for San Antonio, we're going up against a team that is an absolute offensive powerhouse. So what does that mean? You got to stay really compact, whether it's on defense or offense. You've got to move around the field as a unit. Also utilizing those flanks. Charleston tends to be a narrow, direct team. You've got a lot of room and access there on the sides. You can expect to see San Antonio do a lot of that. For Charleston, you've got to win those 50-50 battles. Everyone who comes here to Toyota Field knows that they're going to go up against an extremely physical team in San Antonio. And of course, just bringing that winning mentality that they have at home here to San Antonio, because it's something that they've struggled with a little bit in the season, and I know they're sitting at number 2, so not much struggles to see, but that's one of them, is winning on the road.
Yeah, and they've got the Golden Boot leader, Nick Markanich, who's got 24 goals. He's one off the USL Championship record. See if he can tie it or even surpass it tonight. San Antonio FC hopes for the opposite this evening as they look to fend off Charleston Battery and inch their way closer back up the Western Conference table. We got more coming up on the other side, starting 11 and kick when we return here from Toyota Field.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun, like Camry, RAV4, Highlander, BZ4X, Tundra, Corolla Hybrid, Tacoma, Sienna, Corolla Hatchback, Sequoia, Prius Prime, RAV4 Hybrid, Land Cruiser, GR Supra, Toyota Crown, 4...
Right now, qualified buyers get 3.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2024 Tundra. Offer ends September 3rd.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Dear Texas, we've got something super sweet you just have to try. Sugar Rush Melons. They're part of H-E-B's Dream Melon lineup, and they really live up to their name. These melons are the sweetest around, and they're only at H-E-B. Here to enjoy for a short, but definitely sweet time. Sugar Rush Dream Melons. To Texas with love, from H-E-B.
Pizza Hut, you owe Chicago an apology.
Deep dishes for tours.
Tavern-style pizza is our thing. You just had to tell America about our thin, crispy crust.
Try any of our large Chicago Tavern-style recipes for just $12 each. Sorry, Chicago. No one out pizza's the Hut.
Who can tell me what they want to be when they grow up? Rico?
Are you seriously gonna have nachos for all?
Dusk settling over Toyota Field here. Now the final 8 o'clock start of the regular season for San Antonio FC as they welcome in Charleston Battery here for week 26 of USL Championship action. We take a look at starting 11s for both clubs here this evening, beginning with San Antonio FC tonight. Mitchell Taintor back in the 11 after missing the last couple of games, the lower body injury. Juan is also back after missing last Saturday in Sacramento. He will come off the bench tonight. Mashok Cho will make his 12th start of the season. And for Charleston Battery this evening, sitting right now number 2 in the Eastern Conference. We mentioned Nick Markanich, 24 goals, but M.B. Myers, 13 goals in 25 appearances as well for the Delran, New Jersey native. And the captain, Leland Archer, has spent all 7 of his pro seasons in Charleston. Tonight plays in his 150th game with Charleston Battery, anchoring that back line for head coach Ben Pierman, who's in his 2nd year as the head coach of the Charleston Battery. Has gone 32, 13, and 15. Was the coach of the year with Memphis back in 2022 took them, Charleston Battery that is, to the final last year against Phoenix where they lost in penalties, Katie.
I mean, there's been a marked improvement since he has taken over the squad. The team was already on the up and coming, and it just continues to go that way under his reign. I did have a chance to talk with him about Nick Markanich and just how incredible of a player he was. And he said he's one of those guys, you just got to let him do what he's going to do because he's so spectacular. If you give him too much, you're just getting in the way.
Center referee tonight, Muhammad Hassan. The assistants are Clarence Clark and William Ayton. Our fourth official is Abdu Endai with Katie Goodman and our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Third all-time meeting between San Antonio FC and Charleston Battery. And the first two have been decidedly won by SAFC. 2-0 in the first ever meeting here 2 years ago, and last season a 7-0 victory by SAFC at Patriots Point, the worst loss of Ben Pierman's tenure as head coach of Charleston Battery.
Well, you know that they are out for revenge here, and of course not only wanting to get a result on the road, but just a result against San Antonio. That's one of those games you just don't forget.
And the first touch, or intended touch that is, for Nick Markanich, but it never fully came cleanly to him. And we get a late challenge and a foul over on the far side from Nate Dos Santos, and an early yellow to Dos Santos with that hard challenge here in the second minute.
Yeah, he kind of came out of the blue, out of nowhere. You could tell he's going for a ball. Instead, just gets all leg there for Reese Buckmaster.
Reese Buckmaster, as he appears in his fourth game with San Antonio FC since coming over from Hartford Athletic, but this is his first game here at Toyota Field tonight, Katie.
Yeah, and you know, San Antonio, a team that's been riddled with injuries. Part of his reason for coming here to San Antonio was just trying to fill some gaps for a lot of these guys who've been injured and had to move on to other teams. And good to see him up and moving. I'm sure head coach Marcina is also happy to see that as well.
And notable players still out with injury tonight for San Antonio FC, including Kevin Lambert and former Charleston Battery midfielder Jake LaCava out tonight as well. The total this year for SAFC, 113 man games lost due to injury, or man games lost total. 97 of those have been lost specifically due to injury.
It's every coach's nightmare, and you know, you got to hand it to him and the squad for doing the best that they can, working through that adversity.
A giveaway by SAFC, and the counter for Charleston Battery. It's one thing they do well. They counter press pretty good for a club, and they're going to try to get after you in the defensive end. That's Nelson Flores Blanco, who's down behind the play, and the whistle from the center referee after the concession. Flores Blanco holding that right ankle there.
And again, it's another late tackle. Actually looks like he steps on top of his foot there. A cleat to the top of the foot is extremely painful.
Nelson Flores Blanco in his 11th match with San Antonio FC after coming over from NCFC. Temperature tonight at kickoff, 90 degrees, and that still may sound sizzling, but I mean, it's a taste of fall here in South Texas on Labor Day weekend.
Right, I think Texans call it fake fall because the temperatures drop below triple digits, and then they might just go back up, knocking on wood here for all of us so that we make it out of this summer unscathed.
They call the middle part of August Hell's Kitchen around these parts, and by the time you get to Labor Day weekend, you're just kind of hopeful that you've seen the end of the triple digits. San Antonio actually is not going to play another home game here until the end of September. They've got 3 straight on the road coming up after tonight, including maybe their match of the season next Saturday away in Seaside, California against Monterey Bay FC.
I'm sure fans are relieved to hear that, to be able to come back and watch in the stands without sweating too much.
San Antonio FC, a loser 1-0 last Saturday night away at Sacramento Republic, their 12th loss of the season. Questionable handball in the box. Trovabani that delivered the game winner, PK for Russell Cicerone. And Sacramento remains perfect at home against San Antonio FC in 10 tries, going back to 2016, and an offside flag up on SAFC. Meanwhile, Charleston Battery, a 6-0 winner at home last Saturday over Orange County, which prompted Orange County to dismiss their head coach, Paul Hardiman, after the match, replaced by former Phoenix Rising head coach Danny Stone. He was relieved right before the match that Phoenix played here at Toyota Field. Was brought on by Hardeman in Orange County as an assistant. Now, once again, he's the head man at interim level here for Orange County, as they're one of 4 teams, along with Phoenix, Monterey Bay, San Antonio FC, and Tulsa, that are all trying to take a stab at getting into the Western Conference playoffs.
Really unfortunate there for Orange County, and unfortunate turnover here.
Giveaway by Taintor. MD Myers in the box. The shot blocked by Taintor. Markanich puts it over goal. And just say ricocheted perhaps off the hand.
Good for Taintor to stay
there.
Good for Taintor to stay in it and not to dive in that situation. He was quick to get back. I think after watching game tape against Orange County, you know exactly what they're capable of on those turnovers and tough spots. And that one just skied over the goal. But when you look at that game versus Orange County, it really wasn't anything spectacular other than, Orange County really just gave them a little bit too much space. There's lots of creativity up top, lots of disorganization along the back line, which you can credit Charleston Battery's offense for that. But really and truly what it came down to is they got the ricochet quite a few times.
That's a nice run here by Arturo Rodriguez up the left flank, and he's hauled down, and that potentially could be a booking. Over on the far side there against Burra. Let's see. Looks like it's just going to be... No, he will. Burra will go into the books. So we've seen 2 yellows here in the opening 7 minutes of the matches. Burra's assessed a yellow.
Looking back at this, kind of lucky it wasn't a red, because potentially could have been the last there on defense that he had to go through, but luckily his team got back in time. I mean, I don't know that the ref would have booked him at all, maybe if he hadn't caused such a fuss, but there's definitely a jersey pull in the mix.
That's Burra's 4th caution of the season. I mean, he has done a marvelous job filling in for Kevin Lambert in the midfield since Lambert's been out with injury. This ball's headed out, and it'll be a corner awarded here to Charleston Battery. It'll be their first corner of the evening. Mention the firepower that Battery possesses. They are first in USL Championship in goal differential, a +33. Second behind only Louisville City, 57 total goals, having conceded only 24. As Arturo Rodriguez gets set for the first corner of the evening, right-footed in-swinger. And even in these situations, a guy like Markanich, who's much better in the run of play than set pieces, still has 4 goals off of headers this year. So he can be dangerous as well inside the box.
He's such a quality player. He can score from anywhere.
This one's headed towards the back post and punched out by Pablo Cisniega. Chris Allen will settle and reset. Robbie Crawford tonight playing in place on the right flank of Mark Segbers, the right back who's out tonight serving a 1-game suspension after receiving a red card last Saturday against Orange County. Props to Markanich, and there's that left foot that we've seen so much of here this year in the championship. Sends it wide. Markanich, the 24-year-old, who was originally an FC Cincinnati draftee back in 2022.
Have a look back at it here. Cisniega goes with the punch out. I would have liked to have seen him get a hold on it there rather than put that ball back into play. That's exactly what the Battery wants in those moments, to get that ball, have the defense come out, and then find a seam.
And going back to Markanich, 33 goals now in his Charleston career in 55 matches. Had his 2nd hat-trick of the season last Saturday night against Orange County. And actually with that last goal, overtook Paul Young in the single-season Battery record books for most goals in the regular season. He's still 3 goals behind Paul Conway, who had 27 for Charleston back in 2001. That is in all competitions. And Markanich is one back of both Haji Berry and Cameron Lancaster, who each had 25 in the 2021 and 2018 regular seasons, respectively.
And then if you look at the last 2 games, he could easily be at the 27-goal mark, 27-28 goal mark, having a couple of shots on goal that went just shy of the post. So again, he's such a shifty player, really hard to watch, to follow. His teammates do a great job of, again, disorganizing the opposing team's back line and just giving him those looks at goal.
There's a nice touch there. Juan Torres trying to feather a ball through here. Burra breaks it up. Markanich trying to open up on his left. Injured SAFC player down. Alan Marcina wants a whistle. We play on here for the moment, and now we do get the whistle with Juan Torres in an attacking position there at the corner of the box. That's Jorge Hernandez, who's down for San Antonio FC right now.
Have to take a look back at just what exactly happened there. He's there trying to stand him up.
Ooh, looks like he got a ball where you don't want to get a ball.
Well, you're the one who said it, Dan. Yes, never fun, I'm sure. Not that I can say from experience, but tough one there for Jorge. Good to know he can probably bounce back from that one. Give it a little bit of time. But, yeah, not often that you see a ref stop play in those moments. A lot of times they let them play on until the play finishes. So as you can see there, Charleston having some words with him on that one.
So a chance for everyone here to catch their breath momentarily. You can already see, Katie, Charleston, just such a dominant possession team. 57% for the season. And they're also 83% in passing accuracy, which is third best in the championship. They are a team that plays poised, patient. They have bought into the system of Ben Pierman and what he has brought over from Memphis here. And obviously the results have shown to be remarkable here, with maybe a surprise run to the final last year, but then building off of it for what's been a remarkable season so far.
Yes, and, you know, I think the most impressive thing that I've seen from this team is their short game. The way that they're able to hold on to possession in really tight spaces, I think, is what separates them from the pack. I mean, you saw there as they were beginning to move forward, there were 4 white jerseys pretty cramped up in that space into the attack, and they were still able to hold on to possession and move and not stagnate. That's a hard thing to do when you've got so many people in one spot.
On the reset, Juan Torres will switch the play, and Arturo Rodriguez in the midfield. There's Juan Torres, will give it a go himself. And, well, he's got 60 shots overall for the season, 4th most in the championship. This is a guy, Katie, who came on a trial opportunity in the preseason, and all he's done is score 3 goals and dish out 6 assists.
Yeah, only. That's all he's done, right? Yeah, Coach loves this addition. He's had to battle a ton, you know, speaking a whole nother language. He's had some assistance from Akaza to help understand that game plan and get out there and execute, but he said he's really a technical and tactical talent. Great guy. As long as he's playing really simple, he has the ability to do some really great things, and that's a handball right there.
The handball will indeed be whistled on Robbie Crawford. Again, playing out of position tonight as a right back. In fact, Robbie Crawford, it's his first start of the season. 24 appearances, 31-year-old in his 11th pro season. So early set piece here for San Antonio FC, which has shown much more of a defensive posture here over the last few matches. They've only conceded 1 goal in their last 3 matches, going back to their 0-0 draw against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And they've also only scored 1 goal in that time as well, too.
Definitely have to make the most of every single set piece they get, especially against a team like Charleston Battery.
It's Jorge Hernandez. Gonna drop a dime in, and that shot blocked. And Hernandez looking to that back post. Taintor getting up, unable to bring it down, and the injured Charleston player who took the worst of it, Arturo Rodriguez, blocking that service from Jorge Hernandez, will need another minute.
And you know exactly what they're saying there. They're saying, how come you blew the whistle early for San Antonio FC, but you didn't do the same here? It allowed San Antonio to keep going and moving, but honestly, what can you do there? You got in the way of a driven ball, and yeah, that's going to hurt. San Antonio did a good job to step back on side. You could see everybody was trying to adjust and understand what had just happened.
Now on Marcina. Well, he knows the situation at hand here, Katie. He's 4 points below the playoff line. 9 weeks left in the regular season. San Antonio FC 10 matches, including tonight. It doesn't seem like an arduous task. But when you've scored just 24 total goals for the season in 24 matches, it makes the challenge of accumulating points to get yourself back into the playoff race that much more difficult.
Right, especially when you've got who you've got here. And, how do you start opening up your team so that they can blossom and really open up the firepower? Really tough thing to do here in the end. But again, it also is starting to feel like as you get to these final games, it already feels like playoffs at some times. And some teams just do better in those high-pressure situations. So I hate to knock anyone out or to count anyone out just yet. Anything can happen and any team can be beaten on any day.
Well, and as we saw against North Carolina FC a couple of Saturdays ago, if you can prevent a team from scoring, you're in every match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the mentality and philosophy that SAFC has employed here over the last few matches. It's a tall task tonight with the firepower that Charleston Battery possesses. But again, as this match goes deeper and deeper and you continue to hold Charleston off the board, San Antonio FC could put themselves in a fortuitous position like they did a couple of Saturdays ago against North Carolina FC when they got a winner from Jesus Berguido.
And of course, you've got this solid San Antonio back three, and then you've got defensive-minded Burra and Luke Hawkinson there in the middle, both players who really stay connected to the back line. That's what you want in a game like this.
Dos Santos, brought over from Pittsburgh Riverhounds last season, where he spent the first 2 years of his pro career. Here's Robbie Crawford on the switch now. In the midfield, Jay Chapman, Chris Allen, and Dos Santos. Juan David Torres working alongside Arturo Rodriguez, who's back on the field. Another good switch here by Battery. Jay Chapman, Dos Santos, Arturo Rodriguez, shadow there by Mashop Chol and Chris Allen. And it back into the midfield here with Chapman. Juan David Torres gives it a go with his left. Second opportunity for the young Colombian. It's well defended by San Antonio FC. That back line of five never really broke.
Yeah, and Charleston starting to get a little frustrated and antsy taking those shots from way out because that's the only space. It's the only place where San Antonio is going to give them the space.
SAFC just plays a vertical ball back into the Charleston final third and allow the Battery to reset. Jay Chapman came over midseason from Hartford last year, made with Colorado Springs Switchbacks here in the Western Conference, so familiarity with Toyota Field for Chapman. 30-year-old in his 9th pro season. Runs a good midfield for Ben Pierman's squad. Now serves one in here, headed toward that back post, trying to peek out Arturo Rodriguez, and able to win it away from Reese Buckmaster. It's Dos Santos. Rodriguez laying it off the defender, and Allen will settle.
Really was an incredible ball into a tough pocket of space there. Had a nice bend, just run didn't time well. But if they can continue to do some stuff like that, they're going to get cooking.
Got Jorge Hernandez, Mitchell Taintor kind of both shadowing Nick Markanich every time Charleston Battery gets into the final third. And once again, two of them kind of know exactly where number 13 is for Charleston. And Battery switches, and they switch a lot, as you can see.
And that's the tough part, is that Nick Markanich is not the only one who can score on this field. You've got Indy Myers with 16 goals, Juan David Torres 3, 6 assists.
Yeah, you don't want to forget about MD Myers.
Yeah.
And so right now, that's the task of Kendall Burks, pretty much in a one-on-one situation of watching MD Myers when you've got Mitchell Taintor and Jorge Hernandez trying to keep their eye closed on Markanich.
And it's such a fine balance to try to execute if you're defending and you're tasked with defending big players like that, because they're so intelligent that if you get too much of a man mark, they're likely to pull you out of position and you have someone just as talented running in behind. So again, a tall order here for San Antonio.
Foul whistled on Markanich, and Taintor gets booked here. What? Center referee tonight, Mohammed Hassan, he's got no patience for anything here this evening. He's already dished out 3 yellows in the first 20 minutes. And Mitchell Taintor picks up his 9th caution of the season, and I believe he was still sitting, and I have to go double check, I still believe he was sitting on a card accumulation warning. He might miss next Saturday's match in Monterey Bay with that 9th caution.
Yeah, as you can see there, it looked like it may not have gotten a call. It might have been after the fact there on that one. But that's why you just can't mess around here in these games. I understand it's mental, but you got to be careful, and that's a dangerous ball.
Taintor. And another dangerous one in the direction of Carter Manley, able to get rid of it. Nelson Flores Blanco. And Reese Buckmaster over on that right flank.
It's very clear that center ref is not taking any chances here tonight with letting this game get out of hand or escalate. And if there's anything that we've seen before is that you never know what's going to happen if either team goes down to players. Sometimes it stagnates the game. Other times it opens up the scoring line.
MD Myers inside the box. Cuts back. Is trying to spot the trailer coming back there through the midfield. And Robbie Crawford never got to the ball. Well defended by San Antonio FC.
Jorge Hernandez with the hustle, getting back there. And that's what Marcina loves about Jorge. It's not just his tactical ability, his IQ, it's that hustle that really keeps San Antonio in it a lot of times.
And just to confirm, Taintor was indeed on a card accumulation warning. So that will put him out next Saturday night in Monterey Bay FC with that 9th yellow card accumulated here this season.
Another blow there for San Antonio. It's going to be a tough one, especially as they're gunning for that final spot.
Knocked away from Myers, Arturo Rodriguez. Push from behind. Burra and Mashop Chol. And the ball will belong here to San Antonio FC. Big night tonight for Taintor. This is his 108th career match with San Antonio FC. That leaves him one behind in the regular season, I should say, to specify. Leaves him one behind Matt Cardoni for the all-time regular season leader for San Antonio FC in USL Championship in games played. Taintor already has the club record for all competitions, but tonight his 108th regular season match with San Antonio FC.
Really a staple and foundational piece here for San Antonio. It's definitely felt when he's not on the field. He's got that leadership, wears that captain band, makes all the difference. So again, helps you kind of understand how much of a missing piece he's going to be for them next weekend.
Off Markanich, another throw to San Antonio FC. Charleston Battery, 57 goals scored this season, but of their 57 goals, 38 of them have been scored at Patriots Point. They only have 19 goals on the road, only 19 on the road. But I mean, double the number of goals at home than they do on the road. And we talked about that they've lost their last 2 matches away from Patriots Point. Not as prolific of an attacking team as Flores Blanco's upended here, trying to make the run up the left side flank.
It's definitely something to be said about the comfort of playing in your own stadium, especially when things get really physical like this, bodies on the floor. That's when you need the support of the fans in your ear. Except San Antonio, again, another really tough fan base to play in front of.
It's a deep set piece for SAFC here with Jorge Hernandez over the ball here. Referee backing Juan David Torres off. Jorge Hernandez balloons one in Taintor's direction and headed away by Dos Santos.
San Antonio FC is going to have to be better at making the most of those set pieces. 2 set pieces now that have not converted or even really been in dangerous spots.
Buckmaster defended out by Crawford. A dominant 75-25 in the possession battle early on in favor of Battery. There's Leland Archer. the captain for Battery, as he plays it off to Robbie Crawford. Chris Allen will work in the midfield here with Jay Chapman.
See Battery being forced to play side to side. Not something that they really want to do. Much more of a direct central team. It's in part by San Antonio just forcing them that way. San Antonio typically that high press team with that high press mentality. This just seems to be working for them here.
And you can see they've kind of relinquished on what has really been their bread and butter the last few seasons, that press. That's going to be a foul here on Jorge Hernandez, trying to slow up Robbie Crawford. They're sitting back. They're going to give Battery the space in front of them. It's very unlike we've seen from San Antonio FC and what Alan Marcina wants to do. But again, he realizes with the players out, he has to play to his team's strengths right now.
Yeah, and this is not a team that you want to mess around with. We'll have a look at this, and it kind of looks like he trips over Jorge's foot. Didn't look like an intentional foul there from Jorge. Good thing is no cards awarded, but here's a dangerous set piece.
So Arturo Rodriguez over the ball along with Juan David Torres here for Battery. It's Rodriguez to the back post, and running out of real estate is Nate Dos Santos over on the far side.
It's quite a bit of wind in the mix here tonight. Looks like it just kind of carried it a little bit more than you would have liked.
Flores Blanco. Nice find. Ashok Chol heavy on the touch though. And Leland Archer back to his keeper, Adam Grinwiz, who makes his 23rd start tonight with a record of 14 wins, 3 defeats, and 5 draws. 32-year-old, native of Ada, Michigan, formerly of Orlando City in Major League Soccer. Torres. Good touch there from Rodriguez. Trying to seek out MD Myers and Crawford.
Quality slide tackle there from Kendall Burks just to make sure that one stays out of bounds. Interestingly enough, I think there are some fouls that the ref has called that were maybe less than that, but I guess because it was all ball, he's going to let it go.
Ashok Chol as Solignac gets wrapped up, and yet another caution here in the first half. This one handed to the captain, Leland Archer. The 4th caution we've seen in the first half. Archer goes into the books here in the 28th minute.
Just having a look back at this, and hands all over Lucho there in that moment. Again, surprising that it wasn't a bigger call considering he was the last defender in that situation. Archer in his 150th USL Championship regular season appearance here. It's his 5th season, the longest tenured player for Charleston Battery.
And Archer won the club's most outstanding award from last season, which was renamed in honor of our old friend Tim Hankinson, who passed away last summer. Tim Hankinson was the first head coach for Charleston Battery. He was also a co-founder of the club as well. So, boy, kudos to the folks at Battery, a high-class organization. A deep throw here for Charleston after San Antonio FC was trying to search out Reese Buckmaster over there in that far corner. Dos Santos will take the throw. That's well done by Markanich. Able to create a little bit of space, now asking for the return ball back. Robbie Crawford. You see Crawford here coming forward now, playing more of what he usually plays in his midfielder position. That forces Chapman back a little bit to cover his spot on that right flank. Again, in the absence of Mark Segbers tonight. He's missing tonight's match with a red card last Saturday. Chapman. Markanich. Nothing doing for Battery there. Cisniega just fires it forward here. Graham Smith back in the direction of Juan David Torres. San Antonio FC able to win possession of the ball. Jorge Hernandez. He's got Nelson Flores Blanco flanked out to his left. Give San Antonio FC some space here. Hernandez, well defended by Crawford. He's able, Jorge, to win the ball back. And pushed aside and out. That'll be a corner for San Antonio FC as Chris Allen defends that over the byline. First of the evening for the home side.
Really, that entire development to the credit of Jorge Hernandez there. I mean, he didn't have a ton of options or passing lanes, was forced to carry, wise enough to get it out and get a corner kick opportunity, but San Antonio has got to be better about when they gain possession of keeping the ball.
Hernandez to the back post and headed out of harm's way. Carter Manley volleys it forward, and the clearance there for Graham Smith. Hernandez still leads the championship with 8 assists this season. Skies over the head of Lucho Solignac, or rather Luke Hankinson on the far side. Here's Charleston on the counter-attack. Off of Hernandez, the touch from Chapman. Dos Santos getting forward on the left flank, trying to search out Arturo Rodriguez. And back to Pablo Cisniega.
Battery just getting really hungry here for a goal, so much so that they're really forcing it at times. I think you're going to hear something from Coach Pierman at the half about just settling things down and being a little more tactical. They had a wide open field, the most seams that they've seen this whole time in that moment. And so if they had settled it just a little bit more, they could have broken through and had a better look at goal.
So we do get a hydration break here tonight, even though the temperatures are cooler than what they've been in the past. But to your point, Katie, the average minute of the first goal for Charleston this season has been 26th minute. San Antonio FC not far behind, 31st minute. But they have scored the opening goal in 14 of their 26 matches. SAFC, they've scored the opening goal in 11 of the 22 matches that have featured a goal in here. So most of those were towards the beginning portion of the season where SAFC featured a more attacking lineup. But, you know, so far, a half hour through the match, it's a pretty good job defending by San Antonio FC here.
Absolutely, it's impeccable, and now they need to take the next step, which is, yes, defend well, but when you get the ball, know what you're going to do with it moving forward. I think it's exhausting to defend for a full 45 and then another full 45. It's also just mentally taxing, not being able to create stuff and move forward and get hope and momentum going. You can only defend for so long, and a big key part of that is when you get the ball, not forcing it, not just sending it forward. I know you want to be careful and diligent in your defense, but that's where you've got to make some things happen. You're going to be tired. There's no doubt about it. If you're defending the whole time, that's where you have to push past that wall into that next level. We've seen a couple of developments forward, and you can see maybe only a few guys with gas in the tank to really make things happen. This is where you got to dig deep.
San Antonio FC, they continue to get help, though, across USL Championship. Monterey Bay has lost again tonight. They lose away at Miami 1-0 as Miami FC grabs just their 3rd win of the season, and Monterey Bay FC just continues to struggle their way here through the back half of the 2024 campaign. Such a promising first half. They dismissed their head coach. We've had a lot of coaching changes here in USL Championship this year, but the coaching changes not worked to their benefit. They continue to slide further out of possible playoff conversation, leaving the door open for teams like San Antonio FC, who they can just find a way to keep getting points. Alan Marcina just hopes to sneak his way in for a 5th consecutive year.
This is an absolute dogfight out there. Not something you see too often in that part of the field.
Crawford.
But yes, to your point, Dan, it's a league that is just constantly changing. It seems to be the only constant there is change, whether it's a coaching change or a new transfer or something or another.
throw by Flores Blanco. San Antonio FC. A little bit of life. Delivery from Jorge Hernandez trying to search out Mashok Choldo, however, never found a home. Nicely done by MD Myers. Back to Juan Torres. And a good push forward by Chris Allen. And finally it opens up a little bit here for Charleston. There's the battery. Move it along with Robbie Crawford now. Service towards that back post. Myers and Markanich with that left foot over goal.
San Antonio is lucky that Markanich took that shot because you had Juan David wide open right there with the best look possible at goal. Had that ball been dummied or gone through to him, it would have been 100% a goal. And we've seen a goal come from Markanich just like that. Off the volley, he manages to build up and put power behind it, something that's really hard to do in that one touch.
Yeah, his left foot is just so remarkable. 19 of his goals scored off that left foot this season. And a foul whistled against San Antonio FC. And the other big news in the league this week involving Nick Markanich was the transfer that he and Charleston Battery agreed to with Club Deportivo Castellón of the 2nd Division in Spain. Markanich will finish the year with Charleston Battery, and then a 6-figure transfer will send him overseas to Europe and Spain next season.
Ooh-wee, if that doesn't sound like Christmas, I don't know what does. You know, that's the tough thing. As we can see him go down there, just looks like a miss hit off the noggin. But, you know, that's the tough thing about being in the USL Championship and playing U.S. soccer is a lot of these great guys get recruited to Europe. And so that's just been the challenge here for the United States, is continuing to build when you continue to lose talent and outsource it.
Quite a journey for Markanich, who started at Northern Illinois. We mentioned drafted 3rd-round pick to FC Cincinnati. Was never able to break through on the senior side. Spent 1 year playing in MLS Next Pro, but his partnership with Ben Pierman has been phenomenal and obviously has paid tremendous dividends.
13 goals and 4 assists last season. Who would have thought he'd be sitting at 24 right now? I mean, he just has absolutely blossomed, and I think Coach Pierman said it best. He said with guys like that, when you see their development and the things that they're doing, it's best to just get out of their way and let them make it happen.
And here is Markanich. His footsteps coming there from Bora. Oh, he undresses Bora right there on his right, so pass it off here to Robbie Crawford, calling back for the ball. Chris Allen now getting forward. Into the box, headed away there by Kendall Burks. Salignac, Markanich. Gives up the ball with a little bit of space, and you don't see that very often, but he's become a little bit of a better passer as well, too, this year. Crawford, Chapman. Shok Chol coming. Arturo Rodriguez. Robbie Crawford. Finally the switch here for Battery. Rodriguez. Service into that back post. Dropped by Myers there, trying to search out Markanich, and well read by Carter Manley, able to direct it out.
San Antonio FC with a seamless defense tonight. I mean, everybody is on board here. You even had Lucho getting all the way back, helping out in the defense. And look at this service in. Beautiful, well read. It's a well redirect, and Carter Manley, he is not taking any chances. That one-touch clearance.
Myers goes to ground, no whistle. And a throw awarded to Charleston. Battery's going quick here on the reset. They're trying not to let San Antonio FC get back and settle with 5 back. Numbers all behind the ball. Almost as if SAFC's trying to protect a lead. Juan David Torres. Dos Santos out wide. And again, blocked by Buckmaster. And Torres was able to maintain the touchline. Return ball back. Dos Santos. Sends it across and over goal, and will be awarded a corner, deflected out.
That ball definitely looked like it went out on in the field there. But ref said play on. Luckily, San Antonio not switching off and continuing to defend. Still lots more work to do here on this corner.
Second corner of the evening for Battery is Juan Torres. Needs to pick up the ball. Native of Bogota, Colombia. For the Millonarios program in the first division in Colombia the last couple of years. Now off his left foot on the second corner. Headed away by Mitchell Taintor. Rodriguez, the turn. Hernandez works it away, and then he gets wrestled down by Torres, and a foul on Torres. Give the ball back to San Antonio, and then Torres and Hernandez with words in a confrontation.
Jorge Hernandez has the kind of hustle that gets under people's skin. You know, he has heart, he has grit, and that tends to bring out the worst in people sometimes.
And so Torres will get a word from Mohamed Hassan, the center referee here. 4 yellows assessed by Hassan here in the first half. Graham Smith volleys that one along. And drops to Nelson Flores Blanco. Hernandez. Hawkinson just couldn't settle, but it was sitting there for Luke Hawkinson and an opportunity for SAFC. Markanich with the turn. A push by Kendall Burks, and then well done by Allen, wins the ball away. Markanich had to get back onside and allowed Kendall Burks to come and intercept. Flores Blanco gives it away. Back to San Antonio, Mitchell Taintor. That one sneaks past Luis Salignac and back into the box. Hasn't been much for Adam Grinwiz to do here tonight. He's barely touched the ball through 41 minutes.
Yeah, and sometimes that's when it gets you. I think this is some of the best developments we've seen from San Antonio. Unfortunately, Luke Hawkinson in a really good spot just couldn't collect it there. Great service in for Mitchell Taintor, but the switch has been on as well, backside this whole time.
Meanwhile, Markanich is down, and he's favoring his right shoulder here. A little bit of a development right now. They've been dealing with some injury issues. They're minus one of their best playmakers in Aaron Malloy. He was brought over from Memphis, where he was previously coached by Ben Pierman, and you talked to Coach Pierman, and he said Aaron Malloy has just got the more courage than he's seen from any other player. He's been out since the 27th of July with a leg injury that he suffered against Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Yes, extremely high IQ, just that guy who really is such a missing piece. And it's crazy because he has so many really quality players here on this squad that it's hard for someone to compete. Yes, it's great to have the depth there, but man, to miss a player like Aaron Malloy is a tough one. Also, Daniel Kuzemka with an elbow injury has been out as the backup keeper. So we've got an academy goalkeeper sitting in the backup role should anything happen here for Charleston Battery.
And they don't have a ton of players on their roster. They keep a smaller group than most clubs, even though they do have a full 18 tonight in terms of substitutes. Markanich is back up and okay and in possession of the ball here in the last couple of minutes of the opening half. Leland Archer with pressure coming from Mashop Cho. And Archer puts it out into the San Antonio FC bench. Now, the numbers tell a pretty good story here in the first half. 70-30 possession in favor of Charleston. There's been 7 total shots, 6 of which have belonged to Battery. 1 officially on target to Battery here in the first half, but otherwise it's been the defensive posture of San Antonio FC that's been frustrating to the visitors here so far through the first 45. That's going to be a foul on Luke Hawkinson, wrapping up Torres in the midfield.
Definitely looked like an unlucky clip. You could see by his face. Wasn't intending to do that, but there was that quick switch that I'd been talking about that Lucho had the vision to see and just sent it over really quick. You know, sometimes it's not about doing exactly what is in the game plan. It's reading the situation at hand and what's wide open. So really unfortunate for San Antonio. Could have been something really good could have come from that.
See how much added time we get here at the end of the half. Remember the hydration break, so we'll be looking at 3 minutes perhaps. Ooh, we get a healthy 7 minutes of added time. So figure with the injuries and the yellows, that just kind of adds up. 7 minutes added time here at the end of the first half.
Dan, normally you're right, but this is a lot of time here.
Point of emphasis is to be more exact in terms of added time. So you add the hydration break, a couple of minutes, and again, kind of forgetting about all the cautions that have been assessed here so far. We haven't had any goals, but we've had a number of stoppages with the cautions, the injuries, and the hydration break. So 7 minutes added on here at the end of the first half.
Kindle pretty high up in the field here. That leaves 2 in the back.
Nice flick by Markanich. He'll get it back. And they collapse on him. Carter Manley and Burra. A little sandwich on Nick Markanich as he goes down. Graham Smith volleying that one along. Jay Chapman over to the far flank to claim it. Allen with the switch over to Torres now. Out to his right. Torres. Rodriguez back to Juan David Torres. Robbie Crawford to the overlap. Well read by Flores Blanco, and earns a throw as that's off of Crawford.
There's that flare that Coach Pierman was talking about. Nice little fancy stop and then a back heel, trying to get things going and moving. And sometimes you just got to settle it down and keep it simple.
Markanich to the feet here of Rodriguez, tied up. Burra fouled. San Antonio quickly. Finally have got a little bit of space and some numbers to work with. Mashop Joel quickly will play it out wide. Here's Reese Buckmaster. He's got a trailer and Jorge Hernandez who's calling for the ball. Salignac, oh, saved off the line by Grinwis. Salignac nearly had it. Saved off the line by the right hand of Grinwis. Kendall Burks returning it to his keeper. Finally, San Antonio FC off that quick restart was able to take advantage of Battery out of position.
San Antonio is so close to a goal they could taste it there, but that deliverance from the back just then, those are the pieces that got to be fixed. I mean, almost gave up possession once again. Lucky for them to get it back here. Maybe try to cook up something special once again.
That's a throw to San Antonio, and at least that last trip up the field should make them feel good here and give them some positive momentum on the attack.
Buckmaster doing a good job to hold just in time. Lucho finds a seam, just not going to get past Grinwis. Man, just barely getting upon it.
Only the second shot for SAFC, but they do get their first on target. And Reese Buckmaster, did he keep it alive? They're going to say he did. We continue on. Flores Blancos, that was played across the face of goal. Now to the back post and headed by Dos Santos out. Taintor wins the ball. The back of the feet of Charleston. Finally feeling a little pressure on the back end is Battery. And Arturo Rodriguez is tripped up and he wants a caution.
Have to look back at that. He's making a breakaway. I mean, he was going for the ball there. He just got some ankles in the mix.
And David Torres gives it away. Mashop Chol. It's been good here tonight in place of Agudelo. Flores Blanco. Nicely done by Chol. Hernandez. Hawkinson. Had to find that extra pass there for Solignac. Burra! High and wide.
I really love that he took the shot there. You can see things starting to heat up for San Antonio. Burra, such a defensive-minded player, managed to get himself into a spot where he had to look at goal just above the bar.
And at the very least, they've got Charleston at least thinking defending a little bit, which is not something they've had to do very much of here in the first 45 minutes. So kudos to SAFC here for the little spurt at the end of the opening half. MD Myers, as it ends up back, Pablo Cisniega. Play on, Dos Santos. Juan David Torres over on that left flank. Cuts it back to the inside. Switch in the direction of Arturo Rodriguez. Looking to find Markanich, once again broken up. This ball comes through the middle. Nicely done by Lucho Solignac. Jorge Hernandez. And a foul whistled on Rodriguez.
Lucho putting in some extra work there just to try to get something going off of Jorge Hernandez. The few times that San Antonio has been in the attacking third, you can see that they're just not totally sure of where to go next. Looking back at this chippy foul here, all makes sense just to slow down the momentum for San Antonio. But even then, he didn't have a ton of looks. You had Lucho having to really put on the jets to try to create something out of that. I think Charleston really could have just shut that down without it being a foul.
Solignac unable to keep it in play. And that should pretty much wrap up the first 45. Well, 45 minutes down, you knew how San Antonio FC wanted to play. One of the most potent attacks in USL Championship, and so far so good for the home side as they've kept the M&M boys, Markanich and Myers, off the score sheet here through 45 minutes. And a little bit of a spurt, too, at the end of the half as well. 0-0 through the first half as we've hit halftime here. More to come when we continue after this.
It was tax season in Dallas. Late one night, an accountant made a large deposit at Frost Bank. But it was meant for Other Bank. No problem. The next morning, a Frost banker took it to Other Bank and made the deposit for him? Really? It happened. Who does that? Those are some nice people.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun. Like Camry, RAV4, Highlander, BZ4X, Tundra, Corolla Hybrid, Tacoma, Sienna, Corolla Hatchback, Sequoia, Prius Prime, RAV4 Hybrid, Land Cruiser, GR Supra, Toyota Crown, Ford.
Right now, qualified buyers get 3.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2024 Tundra. Offer ends September 3rd.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, sports fans. I'm Jeff Davis. Going head-to-head with insurance companies is no easy game. It requires determination, gamesmanship, and grit. That's why you need Davis Law Firm on your side. With over 25 years' experience, our team of around 150 in 7 Texas cities has a winning track record of verdicts and settlements, many in the millions of dollars. And just like your favorite team, we play to win. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or commercial vehicle accident, call us at 444-4444. So if you want more, call the fours.
Studio RH is a kind of label that I gave myself to sum up all of my creative endeavors, I guess. So I do a lot of branding, merchandise, design. I've always been interested in the arts, always been interested in sports. Grew up playing soccer my whole life, and through college I kind of found out that I like arts a little bit more than I thought I did, and started kind of doing a few designs here and there. I had a couple people reach out for tattoo designs or t-shirt designs, and once I realized I could make money off of it, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, why not jump into this? So the funny thing is I wanted to take classes about it, but I couldn't really find a graphic design specific class. But at the time I was frustrated because I wanted to take more specific branding, design oriented classes, but it actually just led me to figure it all out by myself through YouTube videos and a lot of questions with friends and a lot of trial and error that kind of figured it out. So I'm originally from New Mexico, so one state over. I grew up in a town called Albuquerque. Once I finished high school, I got recruited to play soccer at Trinity University, and so that's kind of what pulled me over to San Antonio.
How did this collaboration with San Antonio FC come to be?
It kind of came naturally. I have a good buddy who works for the organization. He does a lot of photography for SAFC and the Spurs, and so we were talking, one time we were hanging out, and kind of conversation just flowed naturally, and he was telling me about an idea that he had for a media day shoot, and we kind of put our heads together and figured out a few things, and when we pitched it, it was good. It was successful. It worked well, and it kind of spiraled into this kind of idea of how do we use this further than just a photo shoot. We were coming up with a list of ideas for what we could design that represent the city. So obviously you have the Tower of Americas, you have Toyota Field. There's a lot of things you can do with soccer, between soccer balls, soccer goals, dribbling, there's a lot there. I really enjoy the drawing of Toyota Field. Ever since I first saw Toyota Field, it's a gorgeous stadium, and so that one kind of stood out for me just because it was fun. It's very specific to San Antonio. It doesn't look like a stadium from anywhere else. You spend a lot of time on the back end, and you never really think about the end goal because there's so many little things that you have to focus on and kind of create. It's a beautiful experience to see it all come together. I hope that it accurately represents the fans and their experience with San Antonio FC. I hope that, we tried to include a few fun nods towards things that have happened around Toyota Field or throughout the team's history and whatnot. And so I hope that it accurately represents the fans and that they feel that it's something that they can wear or support or be represented by in a good way.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
numbers are brilliant here for Phoenix. Can they find their second right here?
Drops it to Lasso. Lasso gives it a go. What is the Lasso?
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Halftime from Toyota Field. 0-0 San Antonio FC and Charleston Battery. Here tonight, week 26 of USL Championship action as we hit Labor Day weekend with Katie Goodman and Dan Weiss. We welcome you back to the broadcast booth. All right, Katie, if you're San Antonio FC and Alan Marcina, they couldn't have played a better first half, knowing the circumstances and knowing the task at hand with Battery coming to town.
I mean, their defense has been epic. It's been a brick house. No clean looks here for Charleston Battery is evidenced here by this. Captain Mitchell Taintor just denying that shot, and that seemed to be the case time and time again, not getting a ton of clear looks despite their best efforts. And Jorge Hernandez, just the engine that never stops, the guy who's constantly trying to create things and turn things on here, just couldn't quite get one in before the half.
It was a physical first half. 4 cautions were assessed, 2 for either side, including Mitchell Taintor gets one, which is going to put him on suspension next Saturday night in Monterey Bay, but that's a story for another week. San Antonio FC had one chance in stoppage time at the end of the half. Luis Solignac knocked away by the fingertips of Adam Grinwis. And other than that, though, it was a pretty good first half for San Antonio FC. Charleston Battery, I think, at least I got them thinking that SAFC is going to give them a little bit of a counter, at least what they did at the end of the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, if they can continue to do what they were doing in those last 7 minutes, something about that countdown clock, I think, turned things on there for San Antonio. It's really hard when you're defending the whole time to try to turn on the jets and really push through any kind of fatigue that you have from doing so much defending. So for them, I think in the beginning of the game, they'd get possession, they'd send it up as quickly as they could, but now it's about settling those nerves and moving forward in a way that really makes sense, and that sets them up for success.
Because the numbers otherwise would suggest a dominant first half for Charleston Battery, almost a 70-30 possession battle, 6 shots to 2. You get the one on target, that will be updated. And they had a couple of corners, but again, physical. And I think Ben Pierman did mention that he expected a physical San Antonio FC and was curious to see how his team would respond to that here tonight.
And that's why those 50-50s are so important with those keys that I had at the beginning of the game. If a team's going to come at you with that, you have to bring that back plus some. And that's just tough for a team like Charleston when that's not really their game. They want to possess, they want to play, they want to get looks at goal, they want to disorganize the defense. San Antonio just wasn't having it.
So we've had 4 halves for San Antonio FC, or 4 full games, and SAFC has been able, at least so far, to give you 6 scoreless halves without conceding. And they're 0-0 right now with a Battery here at the half. The second 45 minutes coming up here as we head to break. 0-0 at Toyota Field. More to come right after this.
When you shop or donate at Goodwill, you help create good jobs in our community. Visit goodwillsa.org/goodjob. Good job, everyone.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know.
When your family is growing, we're here for you throughout your pregnancy with just the right care and support for you, for your baby, as your family welcomes your newest little ray of sunshine.
Pizza Hut, you owe Chicago an apology.
Deep dishes for tours.
Tavern-style pizza is our thing. You just had to tell America about our thin, crispy crust.
Try any of our large Chicago Tavern-style recipes for just $12 each. Sorry, Chicago. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Dear Texas, we've got something super sweet you just have to try. Sugar Rush Melons. They're part of H-E-B's Dream Melon lineup, and they really live up to their name. These melons are the sweetest around, and they're only at H-E-B. Here to enjoy for a short, but definitely sweet time. Sugar Rush Dream Melons. To Texas with love, from H-E-B.
What would you do
If you won a big jackpot, buy a new car, take a vacation, pay off your house. Turn your dreams into reality at Texas' premier entertainment destination. Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel in Eagle Pass, Texas.
45 minutes down, 45 to go, 0-0 at the half. San Antonio FC and Charleston Battery in USL Championship action is including tonight just 9 Saturdays left in the regular season. We look at scores from around the rest of USL. We mentioned earlier Monterey Bay falls away at Miami FC 1-0. They had 10 goals tonight in North Carolina. Louisville City is a winner on the road, 6-4. Oakland Roots gets their first goal from Dom Dwyer, and they top New Mexico United tonight 1-0. And a big 3 points for Rhode Island FC as they top Birmingham Legion. Other scores, Orange County, Las Vegas just getting underway. Loudoun and Phoenix are 0-0 with a quarter hour remaining. So again, the teams that are ahead of San Antonio FC right now not really separating themselves, which leaves the door open for SAFC if they can find 3 points, or any points for that matter. And we'll see how that goes. Second half action coming up after this.
At Toyota's national sales event, we've got a long lineup of vehicles for summer fun, like Camry, RAV4, Highlander, BZ4X, Tundra, Corolla Hybrid, Tacoma, Sienna, Corolla Hatchback, Sequoia, Prius Prime, RAV4 Hybrid, Land Cruiser, GR Supra, Toyota Crown, Ford.
Right now, qualified buyers get 3.99% APR financing for 72 months on a rugged new 2024 Tundra. Offer ends September 3rd.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
But when you add slow roasting to the mix, double the chicken, plus fresh purple cabbage, packed into a bowl, it can also be delicious. The Cantina Chicken Bowl, only at Taco Bell.
Who can tell me what they want to be when they grow up? Rico?
Are you seriously gonna have nachos for all?
Start of the second half at Toyota Field. San Antonio FC, Charleston Battery meeting for the third time in each other's history, 0-0. As it's now been 5 halves for Battery lifetime against San Antonio FC that they have failed to find the back of the net. As we're underway here in the second 45 minutes with Katie Goodman and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us. I figure the eyes of USL Championship are going to be on the second half of this one with Las Vegas and Orange County just getting underway. Loudoun and Phoenix about to finish. 10 minutes remaining in that match. Juan Agudelo comes on to start the second half in place of Masho Cho Agudelo, who missed all of the action last Saturday night in Sacramento with injury. 22nd appearance this season, but the first time for Agudelo coming off the bench.
Might be working with some limited minutes, but you could definitely see the difference without him in the mix.
Nice find, Reese Buckmaster putting it across. It's an open chance for Jorge Hernandez, and it's blocked at the top of the box. And the recovery was not made by Hawkinson as that ball spit out to him. And then a giveaway by Charleston Battery allows Nelson Flores Blanco to get forward. He gives it a go, and it's touched away. Another big save by Adam Grinwis.
San Antonio not wasting any time to turn the heat up here in this half. I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to get to know the team you're up against, to find those seams and figure out what's work. And they came out here and they put that to the test very early on. Greenwich just going even past the goal, making sure nothing's getting in there.
Again, fingertips from Adam Grinwis on that shot with some pace from Nelson Flores Blanco. This is a low delivery, and it comes out, fortunately, there to Juan David Torres, who will just drive it out of play into the seats. But SAFC continuing the momentum they generated at the end of the first half here into the start of the second half. And a good first touch for Juan Agudelo, with Reese Buckmaster setting up that first scoring chance here in the second half for SAFC.
We've seen some success off of set pieces between Jorge Hernandez and Juan Agudelo. I think you could tell he was trying to find his feet there. Just got cleared away. Well defended from Charleston.
Chapman Agudelo. And Agudelo takes out Chapman. And it's not long before Juan Agudelo is in the sights of the center referee, Mohamed Hassan.
That too, he's a bit more of a physical player there than what we'd seen from Machope Scholl. Machope, a guy who likes to get to the inline. He wants to look for the 5. He wants a lot of movement and creativity up top.
So throw to Charleston Battery. And you can see SAFC playing physical, giving Battery as much space here at the start of the second half. Although that's a giveaway as it deflects off Rodriguez. Chapman will settle. And now they'll try to space San Antonio out a little bit, although a little bit more press for SAFC here at the start of the second half.
Almost successful trying to build out through the middle there.
Carter Manley volleys it backwards. Mitchell Taintor hands it back here to Pablo Cisniega. Match 107 for Mitchell Taintor in a San Antonio FC kit in the USL regular season. He will miss next Saturday night, though, at Monterey Bay, picking up a yellow card in the first half. His 9th yellow of the season. Another throw here to Battery.
Almost a really good development there for San Antonio, just a little bit too much oomph on that second wall pass.
Allen. It's good pressure from Hawkinson, forcing Allen backwards. It's well done, though, from Allen. Creating a little bit of space, now he'll push it forward himself, and now they've got San Antonio FC a little bit stretched out here. MD Myers trying to run down this service in the corner. Not going to win the battle there against Kendall Burks. And Taintor crafty along that byline, able to get it forward to Flores Blanco.
Really some quality composure there to not give up another corner kick opportunity. I think a lot of times you see defenders just trying to clear it on a one-touch there. Clearly up top, they just weren't ready for it. But yeah, I think that's one of the big pieces that you've seen of Charleston. They figured out how to spread the field. They know that San Antonio doesn't want to let them in through the middle of the field, building out of the back. So they started bringing some defenders up and then moving them back just so that the attackers will follow, and it worked.
Oh, what a little dummy there from David Torres, and unfortunately Arturo Rodriguez couldn't get on the end of it. Oh, and Agudelo able to create a little separation into the box. Juan Agudelo drops it off. San Antonio FC with the first strike for Jorge Hernandez.
Jorge Hernandez, the play creator, and in this case, the play finisher. Marcina's been trying to get him up in the attack, and he was at the right place at the right time. And a big part of that started with Juan Agudelo. He read the ball. He didn't stab here. He took his time, and it was just the perfect pace on it. The diving finish here from Jorge Hernandez. It's exactly what San Antonio needs right this second.
Jorge Hernandez with his second goal of the season and his 4th career goal with SAFC in what is tonight his 49th regular season match. And what all for 45 minutes looked like a dominant, methodical performance by the visitors. That 7 minutes of added time at the end of the first half just seemingly changed the complexion of the game. San Antonio FC got a little bit of a spark, started creating some chances, and then took that they generated at the end of the first half, brought it out into the second half, and they're rewarded handsomely with the first goal of the match.
They sat back, they observed, they were patient, and they waited to see what seams and weaknesses they could identify. And I think they began to pick up on it there in those last few minutes, carried into this half, like you said, Dan, and absolutely executed. But now you're really going to get the fury here from Charleston Battery. Again, they want to avenge that 7-0 loss from last season. And 1-0 is not the best lead in soccer.
Not against this club. Torres, Dos Santos. The switch to Robbie Crawford. Chapman. And Crawford now back to the center back, Graham Smith. Rodriguez.
San Antonio has to continue to stay patient, not get too greedy for another goal.
Chapman. And that ball is behind Rodriguez. It's a giveaway by Battery. Salignac line that long. Lands to Chapman. The turn. Markanich on his left. Quickly gets rid of it. Two collapse on him. On David Torres. That's defended out by San Antonio. And a throw for Battery.
Incredible step there from Kendall Burks. It's been just an epic piece here for San Antonio. Played every minute of every game so far. A fan favorite.
It's the 12th time this year that SAFC has scored the opening goal. But of the 17 previous times where they've taken a lead, they have conceded the equalizer on 11 occasions. Rodriguez. Drop one to the top of the six. That got defended out. Smith knocked away by Agudelo. And it belongs to Battery.
Beautiful slide tackle there from Agudelo. Puts just enough pressure on it.
Allen. Dos Santos. Chapman. Torres. Top of the box. Chapman. Comes that press a little bit for SAFC. Dos Santos into the box. Off the feet of MD Myers, but he couldn't find a receiver at the other end. And Agudelo offside.
Have to look back at that. Coach Marcina not a fan of the call. Not shocked. But that is some really good stuff there to see from San Antonio. As you can see, slight difference here is Juan Agudelo staying perched up high versus really staying tight inside that unit.
Chapman. Myers lost it, trying to make the turn. Taintor got all the way forward across the center line. Wanted the ball back, and that's a giveaway. MD Myers. Rodriguez. Myers blocked in the box. Comes back out Torres. They've got San Antonio in trouble. Juan David Torres puts it through the box wide. And back to Pablo Cisniega. And it's the first time that Charleston Battery gets San Antonio FC running around a little bit.
The one thing they love to do to anyone's back line is to get them nice and disorganized. As you can see, San Antonio in a scramble, and he puts it in the perfect spot exactly where you want it if you're running backside. Really incredible work, being under so much pressure, intensity high. Of course, wanting to get it forward, but playing such a really quality tactical ball. You can see the quality that Charleston brings here tonight. Just nobody there to finish it.
Graham Smith heads that out into the front row behind the Battery bench. Manley. Jorge Hernandez responsible for the goal, concedes possession. Myers, as that ball got knocked away from Markanich, was already running forward, and that allowed Taintor to come up to create possession. And now Hernandez on the end of this one here on the left flank. And his pass deflected. Chapman, Allen.
Charleston is tricky in that they give you just enough space to make you think you have time. That's where you get players trying to take an extra touch, and then it's closed down.
Markanich, oh, what a ball. Torres trying to serve into the box, again blocked out. San Antonio able to clear out. And again, Agudelo offside, came back on. Flag is up. Torres. Archer and Robbie Crawford. Chapman, the pressure from Bura behind him. Hernandez in the 52nd minute from Juan Agudelo to open the scoring. And a giveaway there by Smith, and Salignac keeps it in play. Waits for support. Nice find. Hernandez running back into the final third. Flores Blanco will get forward on the left flank. Mbura finds a seam. Flores Blanco's service is blocked, and Charleston back in possession. Try to set up MD Myers. Well read by Taintor.
I think there's an opportunity here for San Antonio to try to take a look at the distance shot. Might be well past the 18, but it's been a couple of times that there's been a lot of daylight there at that part of the field.
Bad giveaway by Reese Buckmaster. Rodriguez. Chapman. Allen spotting Torres. Torres blocked out. Well done by Reese Buckmaster. Torres floats one. Cisniega able to settle under it pretty easily. 1 hour into the match, 1-0 San Antonio FC. Luke Hawkinson with the spot Flores Blanco.
Switch was definitely on, but sometimes you got to do those a lot quicker if you really want to counter from there. Here's where you need your striker showing. So you can see Luchos trying to talk to Reese Buckmaster to get into the corner and the flank.
That's a great ball from Carter Manley.
Beautiful switch.
Flores Blanco, they're sitting back. And knocked away by Markanich from behind. He's gotten better at that, as Nick Markanich, in creating giveaways in his half of the field. He's not just an attacking player.
It's really a mark of an incredible player when you can handle things on both sides of the ball.
That's a great find, and into the box going down is MD Myers. No penalty awarded. And a corner for Charleston Battery.
Absolutely incredible stuff there from Pablo Cisniega. Just coming off his line with speed, not taking any chances, making himself big. Does get a clip on him. So you can see there, ooh. And also takes one straight to the noggin.
So Cisniega is down. Very close for San Antonio FC. And for Charleston Battery for that resulting in a penalty.
And if Pablo Cisniega cannot get back on his feet and back in the game, if you have Academy player Brandon Gongora as his fill-in. We'll look at it there, and ooh, looks like the back of his cleat.
Yeah.
So not as bad as a knee, I would say, but still doesn't feel great.
Katie, walk me through. Obviously, once Cisniega, he's going for the ball there, but once MD Myers makes the touch and Cisniega ends up hitting the feet of Cisniega and knocking him out, what's the discretion on the referee in terms of whether that should be called a penalty or not?
You know, I think that was all ball for me on both sides. I know that his hand got in the way, right? I think he was going out, just making his body wide, and he goes in, he gets clipped in the face. He trips after the fact. Definitely wasn't intentional. I think the ref is right to not award a penalty to anyone in this case. Looks like we've got a bleeding nose from Pablo Cisniega. That ball is played in. And here's the 1v1.
So Myers with a touch.
He would have beat him had he not clipped him.
And for the referee, obviously it's going in full speed. He doesn't have the luxury of VAR to go back and take a look at it here. But I wonder maybe that's where Charleston might have a bit of a beef, is that he would have beat him, as you said, if he didn't clip him.
Clipped him, yeah.
And that's where I feel like they might feel they have a little bit of a beef with no penalty being awarded.
I could understand that. I mean, I will say again, didn't seem intentional. I think he made himself as big as he could and just took it to the face.
Cisniega, he's up, and we're just going to kind of do all the concussion protocol checks and make sure that he's okay and able to continue.
And also, in a lot of these 50-50 situations between the keeper and the player, the keeper's almost going to always walk out on top. It's really rare that you're going to see a keeper lose out on a situation like that. Unless they're beaten, they literally run after him and bear hug him, in which they'd be awarded a red, and someone else would have to step in and handle that PK. But it's not red worthy.
It'll be a corner for Charleston when we resume action. It'll be their third of the night, and we've had an extended stoppage here of about 5 minutes or so here since Pablo Cisniega went down and needed some medical attention. So referee keeping obviously tabs on that, which gave us 7 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, and so it'll be another lengthy additional time at the end of this half, which still has another 25 minutes left until the full 90 minutes. So it's like Pablo Cisniega's going to be able to continue here.
Also plenty of time if coaches wanted to make any adjustments, but really I think both teams are bringing their best stuff here.
Well, I think in Charleston's case, their best 11 right now is on the field, and I know that they have certainly great depth and guys who can complement Markanich and Myers out there, but their best 11, especially trailing right now, is probably what's on the pitch. And so I got to believe Ben Pierman's going to let this group go as long as they possibly can.
Cisniega stays, swollen nose and all.
Well, Arturo Rodriguez in swinging corner, and Cisniega able to punch that one out.
Cisniega quite possibly the hero of the match. It is a Marvel theme here tonight at Toyota Field. Huge challenge, and then he gets right back up and hits it out.
Hawkinson went down. They played the ball to Charleston. Santos went down and looked at Hawkinson momentarily. Hawkinson is back up and back on the ball. His back foot, and then it goes off of Jay Chapman. It'll belong to San Antonio FC on the throw.
Chapman doing well to take care of business there. Dos Santos with quality sportsmanship.
Manley, as Agudelo able to stay onside in this instance. Able to turn, knocked away from behind. And now can San Antonio get numbers back behind the ball here. As Allen maneuvers that with the feet of Rodriguez. Out wide, Torres. Into the box it comes, defended out. Torres back on it for Charleston. Trying to search out Markanich. Agudelo climbing the back of Chapman. It'll be a foul on Juan Agudelo.
Lots of slide tackles, intensity, everything you'd expect in this matchup. Agudelo's such a physical, thick guy that whether you're defending him or he's on the offensive, he's going to run right through people. You just can't go up behind their back like that.
Charleston tonight has not really had a quality look at goal. Juan David Torres is over the ball here. It's a deep ball and it's headed out. And it'll result in a corner for Battery, which will be their fourth of the evening.
Better to be safe than sorry there to see that one off the field.
Charleston will go to their bench here now. Two substitutes coming on. Emilio Icaza, formerly of Rio Grande Valley, will come on for Chris Allen. Jackson Conway will come on for MD Myers. Conway, who got the start last Saturday for Myers. So it's basically a switch from last weekend against Orange County. Myers comes off. Tough night for him. Just didn't get really tremendous service from his number 9 position. But Conway comes on, 4 goals. Formerly of the Atlanta United Academy.
Icaza, quite a bit of help there for Juan David Torres. Language is a barrier. He's one of the few Spanish speakers on the team. They have quite a duo.
It's headed out of harm's way. Battery will keep it alive and keep it moving. And they commit an unforced error. Jorge Hernandez was getting forward here, conceded, but San Antonio FC's back on the ball. Agudelo, well, using that strength to create a presence and settle. And now looking to find just a little bit of a seam there over on that left flank, but instead it's Charleston who recovers possession. First touch for Emilio Icaza since coming on.
Icaza, one of the few players who've played in all 28 games this season. Has 3 goals, 2 assists. It's team of the week multiple times.
His 27th appearance. Dos Santos. Icaza goes to ground inside the box. Kind of lost it in his feet, and that allowed Battery to recover possession. Dos Santos putting it across the face of goal. It's defended away. Markanich skying, looking for the rebound try. And the clearance made by SAFC. Torres. Rodriguez. Back post service by Torres is headed out. Once again, Battery's back on the ball. Rodriguez, a bit of a seam. Casa, top of the box. Torres, that's sitting. And it's cleared out by San Antonio.
Still not out of hot water.
Crawford. Jackson Conway trying to bring it down with a bicycle. Punched out there on the short angle try by Juan David Torres.
Pablo Cisniega not even needing to take a beat there. Right place at the right time, and quite the high kick. It plays on. Hard to go near post there. Pablo Cisniega good to react.
Arturo Rodriguez on the 5th corner of the match for Battery. That's a good ball to the back post. Pablo Pablo Cisniega was down, but there was no runner at the other end to claim it for Charleston. Graham Smith, service back in, is headed out. Well done by Kendall Burks. They have bended, but they have yet to break. Dos Santos, Rodriguez. Torres. Casa. Again, Torres into the box to the back post, was looking for Archer. San Antonio clears. San Antonio's got a 2-on-1. Agudelo with Jorge Hernandez. Agudelo, top of the box, lost in his feet. Can't get the shot off. San Antonio had a 2-on-1 try. Don't get a shot off. Meanwhile, behind the play is an injured Burra all the way back in front of Carter Manley. How San Antonio FC, Katie, didn't even get a shot off in that 2-on-1, I'm sure is something that Alan Marcina might think about if his team doesn't come out with 3 points here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll have a look back at this foul just really quick. Burra goes to clear it. He just gets clipped. But it's Jorge Hernandez who takes that one and runs with it. I think in that situation, that's where your nerves start to come out. That's where you can tell if a player has not been used to getting out on a break, out in front. And I think Jorge is so used to creating and moving that in that situation, he should have really held on to it a little bit longer, pulled your defender a little bit closer, and then passed it on, maybe into some space, maybe as a diagonal. But you know, I have to hand it to him because he defended it really well. He didn't commit. He didn't, he didn't leave the other passing lane wide open, and that's how he was able to defend it as a single defender back there.
Burra is up. We're in the hydration break here in the second half. So again, we'll add the time on to already the 5 minutes when Pablo Cisniega got knocked down and needed some medical attention. So plus the goal. Trying to estimate adding up in my head, but I mean it's in the vicinity right now of about 10 minutes probably when all is going to be said and done of added time here at the end of the second half, depending again on what continues here in this final quarter hour. But so you're looking at another healthy dosage of stoppage time here at the end of the second half. San Antonio FC trying to see what would be a vital 3 points, and I mean arguably if they can hang on, it is their signature win of the season.
Yes, this would be huge for them, and to defend like their life depends on it is what is going to be required here, and not giving up those opportunities like they've just created. We've seen that from them time and time again this season, being able to get into good scoring position, but just not quite sealing the deal and finishing things off. You know, I think right now they can pat themselves on the back for the way the score line is here and for the way that they've played up until this point. But it's going to be about getting back and taking things really seriously here on defense.
Orange County up 2 goals first half at home over Las Vegas Lights FC. Orange County began the night 4 points clear of San Antonio FC for that final playoff spot in the Western Conference. As SAFC getting set to go to their bench, and it appears Shannon Gomez will come on here for this final quarter hour.
Gomez, a box-to-box guy. If anyone's going to defend his heart out, it's going to be Shannon Gomez.
Gomez will come on for the 78th time with San Antonio FC. Coming over 3 years ago from Sacramento Republic. Drop reset here. Solignac called for the foul. And now Shannon Gomez will come on for Reese Buckmaster. So Buckmaster's home debut tonight. It's a pretty good outing from him over on that right side flank. 77 minutes tonight for Buckmaster. His fourth appearance with SAFC and a like-for-like sub with Gomez. With a play on his natural foot there on that right side. And they'll need his sacrifice in defending here in this final quarter hour. The lengthy added time here at the end of the half. Conway, Icasa. Ooh, Icasa shanks it into section 114. And I guess he didn't shank it bad enough because it's a corner that's being awarded to Charleston Battery.
Wow, it must have been such a bad shank that he thought it was a ricochet, because if you look back...
And now finally they've corrected. I believe one of the assistants told the center referee that, no, it was just a bad hit.
Yeah. That's a tough one to live down, but, you know, we've all been there. A lot of times when you see stuff like that, it's because they're trying to bend it, or it's just ill-timed. You don't realize there's as much pace on it.
Agudelo spots Jorge Hernandez, top of the box. Good save by Gridwis. Ball sitting. And Seleniak with a push in the back and be whistled for the foul. Trying to spot that rebound.
Every fan out of their seat here in this stadium. I mean, so many close calls for San Antonio. I mean, wide open. And of course, Jorge looking for the shot, just not quite enough power. And not far enough out of reach there for Grinwis. Grinwis up until this point, 9 clean sheets, 5 of those away from a club record. Only 20 goals conceded.
Charleston is a club 13 clean sheets, which leads all of USL Championship. No clean sheet tonight. Right now they're on the wrong side of the scoreline as well, with 10 minutes remaining until full time. Markanich just has not been given the seams that he is so used to having.
This easily could be a 3-0 game right now. I guess silver lining is that San Antonio is getting into good scoring positions.
Torres defended away. And where 2 Saturdays ago against North Carolina FC, it almost felt like they somewhat fortunately ended up with 3 points. But tonight would be a different story. They would have gone out and earned these 3 points.
Full agreement there.
Hawkinson. Seleniak can't keep it in play.
Got to admire the hustle, trying to keep that in play and in possession.
And Pablo Cisniega looks like he's being subbed off here, but he's waving away to the trainer as Prince Sadie is coming on here. And Cisniega is going to be subbed off indeed for the Academy keeper, Brandon Gongora, who will make his USL Championship debut. And what a time for that in these final 10 minutes.
That's really interesting to me here, considering Pablo Cisniega is begging and pleading to stay on the field. Must be something that somebody saw that was out of character for him. There he is giving some coaching points. Again,
Brandon Gongora is 17 years of age, plays for the San Antonio FC Academy in his first USL Championship match. He has featured in the club's friendlies in preseason play. And a foul here. And Nelson Flores Blanco's going to end up in the books. He will. Flores Blanco will get a yellow here in the 83rd minute as he chops down Arturo Rodriguez.
Massive moment here for Brandon Gongora. We look at this tackle. Yep, it's going to get you booked every time. And now he's going to have to bring his absolute best stuff. And the rest of the 10 are going to have to defend like their life depends on it. We've got Agudelo with some words of encouragement.
Fifth caution of the evening handed out by center referee Mohammed Hassan.
Lots of white jerseys backside.
Torres and Rodriguez over the ball here. Dangerous set piece for Battery.
Seems to be quite a bit of wall interference there.
Torres with the equalizer. A golazo from Juan Torres. And Charleston Battery has leveled the match in the 84th minute.
Fourth goal to the stat sheet there for Juan David Torres. And look at this golazo. Holds no prisoners, no mercy, just out of reach there of Gongora. Really nothing he could have done. He made himself big. He reached as far as he could. He was not going to stop that goal.
And so Battery with the equalizer. And yeah, we're in the 85th minute, but there again, keep in mind, is roughly 10 minutes or so of time remaining after we get to full time.
Has to be, and you can't help but feel for these guys who have defended like their life depends on it this entire time. And you've got Cisniega begging to stay in. Must have been a concussion situation. Not wanting to risk a player like Cisniega. And again, it makes you wish that they'd put away those other two opportunities that they had.
Oh, here you got Flores Blanco stretched out there. Great find from Jorge Hernandez. A lot of room for Flores Blanco to the back post. And Prince Sadie, who just came on, will head that one out. It'll be a corner for San Antonio FC. Well, yeah, Katie, as I mentioned, that 2-on-1 that they had where they did not pull a shot out, if they did not find something out of that and they gave up all 3 points, potentially would be something they look back on here. But now with a corner going quickly, low service, and it's going to be awarded to the keeper as it gets knocked out of play.
And quite a close call leading up into that development. You had Luke Hawkinson right there at the PK mark. I think that would have been my first choice. Don't complicate it. Just give it to him, have him hit it one touch first time.
Obviously, Alan Marcino will be asked about Pablo Cisniega and what prompted the substitute here in the final minutes of the match. Oftentimes you wonder, like in the NFL, they have concussion spotters that are sitting in the stands or sitting off the playing surface looking for something, looking for potential signs of concussion. Don't want to speculate, but you wonder if it's something that, again, was seen that they did not feel that Pablo Cisniega would be able to continue in the match.
That must be the case, because
that's headed on, and what a save by Gongora there! Tremendous! With the outstretched arms, knocks away the header from Jackson Conway. That's got to feel good for the youngster.
Brandon Gongora showing up big, I'm telling you. If it's within the vicinity of his reach, he's going to get there. And that is nothing to sneeze at there with that redirect. What an incredible opportunity, so young.
So his first USL Championship saves a dandy off the header from Jackson Conway. And now another corner opportunity here for Battery. in a level match here in the 88th minute. Arturo Rodriguez at the near stick, looking to deliver this one from his in-swinging position. Plenty of traffic inside that 6-yard box. And even though he's had, I'd say, a pretty quiet second half, you cannot forget about Nick Markanich right now.
Not in the very least, and especially Charleston knowing who is in goal right now, knowing that the tough spots are going to be those upper 90 bins. You know that's what they're going to be looking for.
Referee gives the signal. Chapman up top. Chapman with a go! The top of section 115. Substitute on for Charleston Battery. In their third window here will be Josh Drack, as he'll come on for Arturo Rodriguez.
Just looking back at that, you can see they're going for the long ball opportunity. If he'd gotten his chest down just a little bit more, would have been good.
And to your point, they're trying to go into the corners, 90. Top bins, because Gongora is not the tallest of keepers. Most keepers these days end up in about the 6'3", 6'4" frame. Gongora is certainly slight of that. There's a foul on Luke Hawkinson. Trovabani will come on for him here now in these closing minutes. Bonnie will come on for the 11th time this year. Hawkinson's night is done. And again, this is going to be a healthy amount of stoppage time as soon as we find out. You've had multiple substitutes, 2 goals in the second half, and extended injury stoppage for Pablo Cisniega as well. Hawkinson's night is done. 1-1 here. 9 minutes. 9 minutes added time here at the end of the second half. That might even be lacking a little bit, actually.
Yeah. You know, Trovaboni, a player who's been playing outside back. It's clear that Marcina is just going full-on defensive mode here, just trying to defend the single point as much as possible.
Chapman. Graham Smith. Prince Sadie spots an opening Casa. Kept alive by Crawford. And the clearance made by San Antonio FC. I mean, you and I joked earlier before the match, with both teams having their backup keeper and academy product, that the strategy might be to get to the backup keeper. Not actually thinking that would be the case.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess if you're sitting on the bench, you need to be able to come in and make things happen with duty calls, but always a tough spot to be in as a young player in such an intense game.
Kendall Burks, the miss hit. A corner for Battery. Their 7th of the night. 7 corners for Charleston and just 3 for San Antonio FC. And still about 7 minutes here in stoppage time at the end of the second half. 1-1.
But we have to give Gongora some credit. He made an incredible save.
Absolutely.
There. Some cat-like reflexes.
And that should at least give him a little bit of confidence here in these closing minutes.
It's going to be up to his team to close things down there at the top of the 18.
Torres on the service. And we're going to do it again.
Visible frustration there from San Antonio. Not thinking that one was a corner.
Another short play from Torres. Jackson Conway, but I think before Conway, as he collides inside the box there with Trovabani, and then afterwards Icasa gets knocked down, pushed away from the pack.
Last thing you need is a brawl right there in the box.
I think the initial foul was called on Robbie Crawford right there, climbing the back of Nelson Flores Blanco. So everything was waved off after that.
Has to be a high kick there. I understand wanting to go for it, but I mean, he had a player right there. Bonnie just taking that one straight to the face. San Antonio surely running out of people to pull off the bench.
Now, frustrated Ben Pierman right now, expressing his thoughts to the fourth official tonight, Abdou Endai.
This is a look at what happened after the fact.
It's Hernandez grabbing the jersey of Icasa, who tried to play something of a peacemaker, at least to separate everyone from Jackson Conway. And a yellow, I believe, has been assessed to Jorge Hernandez.
He reacted because he was touched, but this is when you got to settle those nerves. No emotions are high because you've got a player down, but
be his 8th caution of the season. But to your point, surprised that Jackson Conway comes out of that unscathed. Now the initial foul, now Jackson Conway doesn't appear he will come out unscathed. At least he's going to have a word with Mohamed Hassan.
you know, you saw Martha from Brazil get a red card for that exact foul. If he does not pull a card here in this situation, I think that's really questionable considering how many cards he's pulled this entire game. It was a high kick.
He'll let him go. Not to the delight of the San Antonio FC fans. But again, the initial foul on Robbie Crawford that was inside the box. So it's Gongora who will deliver it out on the free kick. Mitchell Taintor trying to urge his team onward here in these last few minutes of stoppage time. Sadie won't get to it, and a throw here for San Antonio.
San Antonio just taking their time to get the ball moving.
And a time-wasting stoppage to Shannon Gomez.
I mean, we lost quite a bit of time there, just in those last few exchanges.
Yeah, there will be more than just 9 added on here. Which again, I feel like anytime you get more time to this Charleston battery attack, you're just playing with a little bit of fire. Drac is fouled by Salignac, and Salignac has been certainly overly aggressive, and Ben Pierman absolutely wants a yellow against Lucho Solignac. There's been more than enough occasions tonight where Lucho has been whistled for fouls. He's been in overly aggressive positions. No yellow to Lucho here.
He's been aggressive. He wants it, but I think that last one was a bit of a theatric.
Drac plays it off. Shannon Gomez. Chapman. And an errant ball from Graham Smith. And that allows San Antonio FC to grab possession back. And Shannon Gomez will come over to take it. And again, SAFC, boy, they're really, I think, playing conservatively here down the stretch, just trying to see out 1 point out of this result.
Clearly taking their time. Got to be careful. Don't want any silly cards or situations.
Silly situation like that by Trovabani. Just couldn't handle the throw in and gives it right back to Battery. That'll be a foul on Solignac, and finally shown yellow to the probable delight of the entire Charleston Battery bench.
Had a bit of a shove from behind there. We'd have to see that again, because it looked like he might have already been going down a bit.
Yeah,
as you can see, he was already going down.
I think it's more the fact that they've been in the ear of the center referee in that case. Probably not the foul, but more of the build-up to that point.
Right.
Juan David Torres, service in the box, headed just wide. Oh my goodness, a chance for the man of the hour, Nick Markanich, looking for his 5th goal off a header this year. He had it. It's the best look he's had all night, and he put it just wide.
You cannot blink on this team. I mean, I felt like that was the first time San Antonio FC has kind of settled a bit and almost paid for it.
It's probably not one that Markanich misses, and now Brandon Gongora. Why, he gets his first caution as a professional.
Sounds like he's fitting right in here to San Antonio FC.
Agudelo just volleys that one forward. Now it'll be interesting to see how much more time is added on here now. We've already seen an additional minute. We're at 100 full minutes of match play to this point. Taintor. It's a giveaway here. Drac out wide to Prince Sadie. He awarded back to Gongora, the keeper. Sadie kind of went to ground a little too easily there, trying to earn a foul.
Yep, and cleanly defended there from Trovabani. He was not going to get anything off that. Ref, words for Gongora saying, don't take your time this time. Agudelo.
Remember, Agudelo coming off of injury, only playing the second half here tonight. We got Hugo over by the scores table, and yeah, he is going to come on for a substitute with Agudelo coming off here in these closing seconds. So, I mean, add on again. Usually they would look at 30 seconds for every substitute. We've had some downtime. We're already into a 12th minute of added time. So, you know, Katie, we got there eventually, the elongated added time, just maybe not the route we figured we'd take to that way. Hugo comes on for the 14th time this season.
San Antonio fans are getting some extra bang for their buck here tonight.
Up down by Solignac. Nice touch to the wide side. Flores Blanco. Jorge Hernandez. Going to serve it back. Solignac. Can he make the turn? He can. Can't gain possession of the ball, however. And now Conway volleys that one out wide. Too far beyond the reach, though, of Torres. And this one will finish level at 1 apiece.
It's a tough, hard-fought match there, Dan. I mean, Really, San Antonio earned that 1-0 lead, and what can you do? You've got to keep her out. You got a young guy in. They go top in. That was an incredible goal there from Charleston. Juan David Torres putting that away. I think even with Pablo Cisniega in there, it would have been a hard one to stop. Incredible goal, hard-fought match, and hey, you know what? It wasn't a 7-0 game for either team. So there you have it.
Yeah. Question will be whether it was a satisfying point for either side. For San Antonio FC, they probably felt they played their way to 3. They walk out with 1. And Charleston probably felt they had an opportunity to get 3 there late and only come away with 1. But 1 is where they finished, 1-1, as Battery gets their first point against San Antonio FC in the all-time history. And now maybe the biggest match of the season for SAFC coming up next Saturday night, as they'll head out west to Seaside, California to take on Monterey Bay FC. Charleston Battery will return home next Saturday night. They'll host Sacramento Republic. 1-1 the final here tonight at Toyota Field. Jorge Hernandez coming up golden in the 52nd minute, only to be equalized in the 84th by Juan David Torres. We finished level at 1 apiece. For Katie Goodman and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment to the USL Championship. So long, everybody.
Rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.